Hi there, I'm Wild Humphrey, and they call me the Fact Master because I'll tell you all those things you never knew you didn't know, and some that you probably do, and that's a fact. Now, I've been talking about US presidents, and what a subject. 15 we've done. Number 16 I said was their big one, and I wasn't joking. He was born on the 12th of February 1809, this guy. Throughout his life he did many different things, including working on railways, and he was an all-in wrestler. He's even the only president ever, one, to have a patent named after him, and two, to be inducted in the Wrestlers Hall of Fame. Of course, he is Abraham Lincoln, and he got the vote on the 6th of November 1860, and on the 4th of March 1861 he stood there and was sworn in when he said, "I do solemnly swear I shall faithfully execute the office of President of the United States, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect and defend the Constitution of the United States." Well, he certainly did that all right. A month after taking office, on the 12th of April 1861, Civil War started when the South fired the first shot. Now, throughout the war, Lincoln led the line very well. A number of things happened. Firstly, there was his leadership was never in question. He saw them through the famous Battle of Gettysburg, which started on the 1st of July 1863 and lasted until the 3rd. That allowed him to give his Gettysburg address later that year on November 19. Previous year, 1862, the Battle of Antietam took place on September 17th. 5 days after that, he announced his Emancipation Proclamation. Now, not many people took much notice, so he did that again, only much stronger, on the 1st of January 1863, which would ultimately lead to the 13th Amendment and the abolition of slavery. And that's a fact. Now, Lincoln, as I said, he led well through the war, and he's actually got into his second term. But then, unfortunately for him, this guy, he was 6'4" tall, so you couldn't miss him. And when he wore his hat that he was famous for, made him look about 8'6". It was on the night of the 14th of April 1865, just 5 days after the Civil War ended. Lincoln was out in Washington with his wife, and they were watching a play in a place called the Ford Theatre. Partway through the play, a guy, an actor actually, named John Wilkes Booth, got into the area where Lincoln and his wife were sitting, put a pistol to the back of his head and shot him. Lincoln died the following morning. His killer made good his escape, but himself was killed by police 10 days later. This was the first assassination of an American president, and it was Abraham Lincoln who was assassinated. And there's always irony with these things. On the day of his assassination, it was a Friday, the day he got shot. On that, it was Good Friday actually, and on that day he signed the order for the Secret Service to be formed to protect the president. Would you believe? Then of course the next morning his life was over, which meant President number 17 was sworn in, and his name was Andrew Johnson. Now, Johnson was nothing in the world like his predecessor. Wasn't that well liked, served one term, and he even faced impeachment during his time in office. And he was lucky to escape by just one vote. Moving on to number 18. President 18 was Ulysses S. Grant. He'd been a general in the army and he was loved by the people. Now they say Grant was a brilliant general but a terrible president, which is a bit cruel because the people must have liked him because they voted him in twice, and a lot of presidents never had that. It all turned sour for him after his presidency, really, when he invested all his money into some company with other people which went bankrupt, and he was skint. To get his way out of this, he wrote his memoirs. Fortunately for him, everybody wanted them, and it was in 1885 his memoirs went on sale, netted him and his family around about $450,000. But on the 24th of July that year, Ulysses S. Grant died of throat cancer, so we never get to the riches of his memoirs, although his family certainly did. Takes us on to number 19, Rutherford B. Hayes, this guy. Now Rutherford B. Hayes, when he took office, he made it very clear he wasn't going to go more than one term. He knew one would be enough for him. And sure enough, that's what he did. And Rutherford, well, he wanted to do things, if you like, by the book. He didn't have any favourites, didn't want any political, friends. He said people will get their roles and their jobs on merit. Well, of course, this wasn't liked in many circles. And by the time his presidency was over, a lot of people didn't like him. That's just the way it goes. Number 20, James A. Garfield, his name. Now Garfield took office on the 4th of March 1881. Less than 4 months later, on July the 2nd, he was at a railway station in Washington, and some guy walked up to him, some accountant who was pretty unhappy, shot him. Immediately rushed to hospital, where he stayed for weeks on end, and they did everything to revive him. Everything. But Garfield, he was on a downward spiral with this bullet. They did all kinds to try and find the bullet. They used a metal detector, and he was lying on a metal table, so that didn't work. And even for some reason, Alexander Graham Bell got involved with some electric thing he'd made, and he tried to find a bullet, all without success. And this president died on September the 19th, 1881, so could have no impact at all as president. He'd just be remembered as the second president to be assassinated, which meant that Chester A. Arthur became President 21. Chester Arthur is not really very well known. In fact, most people never heard of him. It was actually Bruce Willis in one of his Die Hard movies that made Chester Arthur famous, because he had to answer a series of questions, and one of the questions was, who was the 21st president of America? And the answer was Chester Arthur. He'd been born on the 5th of October 1829, served just one term, and that is President 21. Now, I'm Wild Humphrey. I'm the Fact Master. What I'm telling you, I tell you from memory. It's all in here. So I've put what's in here, a lot of it, into here. It's wild about facts. Why? Because I am wild about facts, and that's a fact. It's a great present for everyone, for you, for your friends, for your family. Christmas is coming. 9781 9131 51508 is the number you need to get one of these, and that's a fact. So you've got the 21 presidents. I'll be back soon with number 22. Quite a story there. That's a fact. In the meantime, take it easy.